How's it going, friends? And welcome back to the Brick Discussion YouTube channel. Guys, I hope you're all having a great day today. I know I have been on this fine weekend. Right now today, though, I'm very excited to bring you guys a new video. This is going to be the LEGO Star Wars Summer Wave set analysis video. Along with the Summer Wave sets that came out this August 1st, I'm also going to be going over two different sets that come out. I believe they are September 1st. So I will mention those in this analysis video as we get to them in this list of sets. So let's get right into it. We're going to be going from the cheapest price point sets all the way to the most expensive ones. So starting out with the first set, which is $19.99 USD, this is the Duel on Mandalore set. It's 147 pieces. And this was one of the sets when the rumor list came out. I was very much looking forward to it. So, of course, we have Ahsoka and Maul in this set from Season 7 of the Clone Wars. Really, really like both of these figures. Ahsoka is the same from the 2020 set, I believe. Maul is a new mold, or a new design, especially on the legs there. I think they did a great job making his mechanical legs look good. Going into this set design here. So, overall, I do prefer what they've done with this type of duel set better than what they did with the Duel on Mustafar and other previous duel sets. I don't mind those, and I actually have the Duel on Mustafar, and I do like it a lot. But I definitely prefer more of display pieces, display sets more than playability sets, and this one I do feel is a good display set, although it is a bit of a small display piece. For $20, 147 pieces could be a little bit on the short end. Luckily, you do get two really good minifigures that sort of maybe boost the price. Some really cool pieces. Really like the sticker on that cell there from Maul. You have some nice stickers on the background of the orange, translucent orange pieces. For the window there behind the throne. My main, critique here, I guess, could be that it is a little small. Maybe they could have built up the back for the throne a little bit better. But overall, I think it's very nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this set or not. I think it would look really good on my desk. I love Ahsoka and Maul, two of my favorite characters in the Star Wars franchise. Very impressive. In terms of play features, I think they did a good job doing the Maul out the window, because that did happen in that fight scene. There's also a little place for a weapon beneath the seat, which is pretty cool. So yeah, some nice little bits of hidden play features that still look nice within the set that acts as a nice display piece as well. So nice combo of both of those. Pretty cool set. Moving on here, this is one of the two sets that's coming out September 1st. So this is the Armorer's Mandalorian Forge for $29.99 USD and 258 pieces. So within this set, you get the Mandalorian, you get the Armorer, and I believe the other one is Paz Vizsla. I think the figures are all really good. I like the Armorer's helmet. It looks really cool. Paz Vizsla, they use the Wrecker piece, which looks really nice as well. So going into the actual set design here, it's an interesting a choice for a set. They don't, LEGO Star Wars, do many playset designs. So I'm glad that they did, I guess playset more interior designs. So I'm glad that they did that for this set. Typically when they do, they are a bit on the small side, like this one is. There's only sort of like a little bit of a backdrop for the room that they're in. I think there's some nice detail and some nice color that they utilized for this room. So I think that kind of area is nice. It could have been built up a little more, maybe for like a $40 set. I think the Mandalorian, the actual forge part with the blue flames, is pretty cool. The only part that I'm really sort of opposed to is the little part that can circle around, that you can move, that goes above those flames there. I don't really think that looks the best, leaving all of the both the Technic holes open as well as the blue Technic little pieces that go within those holes. So, I understand. I think it's kind of cool that there is that play feature there, but as a whole, not too big on that. My favorite part about this set is definitely the figures, but overall, I think this really isn't a set for me, even though it's probably a pretty good value and some nice, cool pieces overall within the set as a whole. Moving on to the Imperial Armored Marauder, which is $39.99 USD and 478 pieces. Definitely a great number of pieces for this price point. Also, some fantastic figures, really four for this price point, really nice, and they're all really great figures. You get Greef Karga, who has a really nice updated outfit for his Season 2 look compared to Season 1. Much more detail, really nice. I like the beard that they've updated for him as well, really cool. You have the new trooper that's with the yellow armor, I forget his name, and then there's also two regular stormtroopers as well. Really look nice, all of them. The actual figure, or the structure of this build, it doesn't really appeal to me too much because it is sort of just a big gray block, which I do say in one way, but then in another way, I think there's actually a ton of detail on it. I included the picture on the right that shows just how many places this opens up, which I find really cool. I think for being a relatively small build, they did a solid job putting the detail that adds to this, that does make it worth it. I think this set is especially worth it if you're interested in, Imperial army building for LEGO minifigures. I think this is a relatively good price to probably, stack up and collect many different stormtroopers there, which is pretty cool. I'm not a personal army builder myself, so that's not an aspect that necessarily appeals to me. But overall, I think, it's neat. I think it's a nice set that was relevant in Mandalorian Season 2, and for what it looked like in the show, this is very much what it should look like. So, although I'm not typically interested in sort of big blocky-ish builds, I think this has done a good job on what it's supposed to do, and I'm pretty happy with it. I also like the green stud shooters. I think that adds just a little bit of color on there that makes it look neat. So, going on now, we have our second and I believe last set that comes out September 1st. So this is the LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar for 2021. We have $39.99 USD is the price, and then 335 pieces. This is an interesting set here. So it's, of course, not going to be like the other sets here. $39.99, pretty expensive, I'd say, for what you're getting, unless you're really interested in micro builds. I think the best pieces definitely in this set are the figures. So really cool Mando special figure here with a little scarf on, and then you also, of course, get Grogu with a little red Christmas outfit. Very nice. Other figures here, you got the Scout Trooper, the Stormtrooper, and the Tusken Raider. There's some cool builds as well within the little mini ones. I really like the weapon stands. I think those are really nice because they can actually be used by the minifigures. Going into the actual builds themselves, let's see here. I know like the little TIE Fighter looks nice. The Moff Gideon starship looks nice. The looks like there's also a little mini speeder. Oh, I also see IG-11 there, so another figure, if you can count him as well as a figure. So yeah, just like a mix of cool stuff. If this is interesting to you guys, I think this is a great buy. So yeah, neat stuff. So going on to the next set here, we got Boba Fett's Starship for $49.99, and this is 593 pieces. I think that's a great price point, and I think we saw in January that they've sort of begun making these smaller sets with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter, and now they're going on to this. Overall, I think that's a really solid idea for what they're doing here. I think this, although it's very much scaled down at a very reasonable price, it still looks really nice. I think they've really done a great job getting the shape of it, which is could be pretty difficult for such a limited number of pieces. The colors look great, everything looks great, and also that's before we're even getting into the minifigures here, which are great. Of course, you get Mando with his Beskar spear, but of course, you get the new Boba Fett with the new body piece. I think I'm wondering if they're going to update this in the future. It sure seems like that the light green that they're using on the helmet should match that dark green as well. So I do hope that they update that to be the darker color along with the little jetpack that he's wearing. But getting into the build itself, I think it's very impressive. I think I'm very glad that they are doing those scaled back sets because some of these were getting very expensive. I mean, the 20th anniversary Starship was $120, a beautiful set, but it was a little expensive, and same with especially the X-Wings, because they were making quite a few of them, and I know that last one was, I believe, nearing $100. It was a little less than that, but still very close. Yeah, so definitely these smaller scaled sets, I think, are very welcomed in my eyes. Yeah, so if no one has a Slave 1, I think this is a great set to get. Yeah, detail, there's not much else I can say beyond that. It looks nice. The cockpit piece, I know some people mentioned that there was a little bit of a gap for where his feet are at, so it wouldn't be completely shut off. But overall, I think the set as itself does the job it needs to do. The other thing I want to mention is that there's this little car for the little Boba Fett to ride the Slave 1 on, which is really interesting. I think if I were to get this set, I wouldn't use that as a car, but more as a mount for a display piece, because it's a really good angle if you were to display the Starship forward. So that's really cool. And yeah, also the orange little pieces on the back is very cool. You get a little piece for a Carbonite figure, or at least a little representation of that. And overall, I'm very happy with this set. Alrighty, the Mandalorian Starfighter for $59.99 USD, 444 pieces. Good price, seems reasonable. Great minifigures with Gar Saxon, Bo-Katan, sorry, and the Mandalorian Loyalist, I believe the name may have been. You also get a hairpiece for Bo-Katan, very nice. This is a definite upgrade from the Mandalorian Starfighter that released about like a decade ago. Really, really great detail on this. I think the wings look thick enough that really allow for a very nice display piece, whether it's in the landing position or in the flying position. I know there was a little bit of a gap where the cockpit piece is. Still looks really nice. That's not really an issue for me. Just there's a ton of different detail with the grays and the blues. Very, very happy with this. The long stud shooters, they do stick out a little bit at the end depending on the angle that you're looking at it. Not too big of an issue for me at all. Now, my personal preference is that I don't like seeing the anti-studs or the understuds when I see a set. That's just not really my, this is just my personal preference. Some people are okay with them. I typically am not too interested in sets that do show them. So when the Starfighter is in the landing position, it's obvious that you can see, when the wings are up there, you can see that. So if that's not an issue for you, I think this is a set that's absolutely pretty much perfect for what it is. So a very, very solid build. Really, a lot of these sets throughout this whole wave. Really great wave for Star Wars, just very impressive. Going on now, so this is a bit of a different take. We have the Darth Vader Meditation Chamber. So this is an 18 plus set, as you can see with that beautiful box there. Always very stylish. So this is $69.99 USD, and it has 663 pieces. So you do get the Darth Vader and a little Imperial officer there. So I mentioned this set actually in my previous Marvel video, I believe it was. Yeah, for my Black Widow sets. My main issue with this set, although I think they did a good job doing the actual chamber itself with the little screen that can show the other two officers, the stand is just absolutely huge. And 663 pieces for about $70 seems reasonable. However, I wouldn't personally want to spend $70 on a set that has so many pieces that go to the stand. It looks nice, but I would much prefer a smaller stand, like there was in the Black Widow set for the Comic-Con exclusive set that I mentioned in the previous video. Overall, though, beyond that little critique, I think the build is pretty nice. There are those gaps, but I think it's probably a much more interesting set if you leave the chamber up so you can see Vader more visibly sitting in there. Pretty nice, pretty interesting. I think they did a good job getting that design correct. Another similar thing, like I said, on the Mandalorian Forge, you really see that Technic piece in the back if you're looking back there. I don't know. I'd almost rather have something more brick built back there if that would be possible. So yeah, that's my main issue with the set, along with the base. But overall, it's a great display piece. I do hope, last year we had the Empire Strikes Back duel there on the bridge with Luke and Vader, although that was an exclusive, I believe, as well, which was a bit of a controversy. It was an absolutely incredible set, and I'm so glad that LEGO is getting more into creating adult or display piece friendly sets. I didn't pick up either of those two sets. I mean, that last set or this one. But it's just a great sign for things to come, especially for me personally. I'm hoping they do more display prequel sets. I would love to see, a Jedi Temple sort of display piece. I think that would be absolutely wonderful. So yeah, this set, very cool. Going on to the next one. This was one of the sets that I was very, very much looking forward to. I love the Bad Batch. Very great show. I knew based on the design itself there was going to have those understuds. And that's the main issue that I have with that is that you can see those anti-studs there. Along with the little gray pieces that you can see on the wings, I just think it sort of, it doesn't look as clean as I feel like it could have been. I'd much rather have had, although it's probably not likely they would have done it, thicker wings on each side that covered both sides with regular studs rather than leaving the anti-studs open. Same with the top fin. And then while they would have done that, I would have much preferred if they just cut out the little side speeders as well, just to have those extra pieces go toward the Bad Batch shuttle. So I think the figures are absolutely amazing. You have Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, you got Echo and Crosshair, and you have Gonki even, which is really cool. When the ship wings are down, I think that's definitely my favorite way to display this. I really, really like the sand blue choice of that mostly comprises this build. I think so many Lego Star Wars sets are gray, so it's nice to see little variations, and there is a little bit of sand blue within the color that you can see in the show. So I think it was definitely the right choice just to give some more variation to sets. Yeah, very nice. The other thing that I noticed within this set is if you open up the top part, which actually all opens up together with the front and back, there is very, very little detail to fit anything else other than the figures sitting there. So that's a bit of a shame, especially at the $99.99 price point. That's why I definitely would have preferred those speeders to be just put those pieces into a bigger version of the shuttle. But yeah, I think overall, I think they did a good job, especially with that front piece with the red windows. I think that looks really cool. But yeah, those little complaints. I was very excited to get this set, but not too big on seeing the anti-studs and lack of interior detail. So I'm just going to probably skip this one and appreciate the things I like about it, especially with the figures. So going on now, this is definitely my favorite set of the wave. I really, really like this. So we have the Imperial Light Cruiser for $159.99 and 1,336 pieces. So really interesting build here. When I was expecting this or looking forward to this set, I was thinking, how are they going to do this type of build, which is relatively very a flat build, and usually the Star Destroyers go upward toward the back and are thicker, which allow for more interior space. So I was curious about that. what they did here, I think, was really smart. So there was a lot of that little side detail in the dark gray, or the greebling, I believe it's called in the Lego community, that allow for a thicker area on the sides rather than like a hinge piece or something that could just open up from there. I think that's absolutely brilliant. I personally think the hinge pieces on some previous Star Destroyers aren't necessarily the best look. I think this looks so good with that extra detail there. Um, it allows also, of course, then once you have that thickness there for that interior, which you can see on the photo on the right there. So you have, I believe that's supposed to be Moff Gideon's bridge room with this little table there. There's a little place for Grogu to sit. I really appreciate that they took the time to put that detail and find a way to do it very nice. I think it's pretty spacious. And then also just the design as a whole, I think, looks really nice in the back. Those they are stickers, I believe, on the actual exterior view of the bridge. I'm okay with that. It would have been cooler if it was printed, but all good. I think there's also the TIE fighters on the back there, which have a spring-loaded or some sort of little shooting function. I think it's more manual rather than spring-loaded up front that you can shoot them out, which is pretty neat. The little mini TIE fighters do look cool if you've seen them. I like the blue pieces on the back that represent the engines. Overall, I think it's just a really cool build. Also, the fact that you can open up the middle part to get to the interior upward rather than opening from the big on the hinge pieces like previous sets from the side, which it really takes up a lot of spaces and I think could probably hinder the playability of the set. So I think this was a good choice here, to go more of a vertical upward approach to opening the setup rather than sideways. Very cool. You can also see sometimes there's a lot of different color that's used inside that doesn't really match interiors when you open up those side panels to get inside, at least match the interior within the Star Wars universe. This one has just a nice little bit of black and red up the middle that you can just see a little bit on the right side photo there of the interior. I think it looks really good. And of course, beyond that, we haven't even mentioned the minifigures yet. So we get Grogu, Mandalorian, Cara Dune, Fennec Shand, Moff Gideon, and a Dark Trooper. All really wonderful figures that go well with this set. There's really not much else I can say beyond very, very impressive. I was wondering how they were going to do it, and I think they really did a great job. The one thing that I was surprised that they did on the engines, I don't mind the size. They are a little larger than the actual ship is. But the main thing that I noticed is instead of an actual stud, they use those long little shooters that stick out in the back. I think that really hinders the display aspect of this, which is surprising to me why they used that when I think they definitely could have basically made it the same size. While just using stud shooters. I would have liked to see just a little bit of green on there with a stud, but I don't really enjoy seeing those long pieces out of the back end of those shooters. Overall, if I were to get this set, which I do like it a lot, but I'll probably not be getting a little expensive for me personally, I probably would have displayed it without the green, without those little green shooters in there, just so I wouldn't have to deal with seeing them coming out of the back there. But overall, very, very nice set. Definitely my favorite of the wave. And now our last set of the summer wave here, the Republic gunship, $349.99 USD and 3,292 pieces. So this is just a beautiful, beautiful set. Really impressive with how they did all of this. It is just immense. There's nothing else I can really say beyond that. I mean, the detail, it looks so much like in episode 2 and in the Clone Wars. I really like the spherical pieces. They did a great job doing those. I think you see Mace Windu there, great figure to include, along with the clone pilot. You never get too many figures in these in these UCS sets, so I understand why it's only 2. I think they're 2 good choices. Beyond that, the red looks cool. The little green up front, just very, very impressive. Really like this. It is just absolutely immense. You definitely, it would be difficult to find a place for me personally to display this. I don't know about you guys, but if you have the money and the place to display this, there's no question that this is a perfect and beautiful set to get. So yeah, very impressive. And guys, that's everything. I'm very impressed with the Wave as a whole. I think they did a wonderful job with all these sets, and there's a good variety too. I know in the Winter Wave there was a bit of a sort of negative feeling toward it from the community a lot, that it really seemed to focus more on the original trilogy, but this was really cool how they did some prequel stuff in here, Clone Wars stuff, some Mandalorian era stuff, New Republic. Very impressed. There's not much else I can say about this, but probably just my favorite wave that I've seen in a while now. The only thing that really could change that going forward, to like things like a wave like this more, is more solid interior builds. I would love to see more buildings that have a good interior, or at least a good interior, and then maybe some good exterior as well. That would make a cool display piece. I'm still holding on to someday they'll make that, UCS or display piece, Jedi Temple. So that's the goal. I would love to see that someday, but we will have to see. So thank you all so much for watching the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you all have a great day. See you later.